Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. This is session title, Exploring Opportunities of Virginia Private Colleges and Universities. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us this morning. You all are in for a treat, and we'll be hearing from a diverse group of private institutions from each corner of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We encourage you to ask questions today via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. If we don't get to your question immediately during the presentation, we will certainly leave time and try to answer it live at the end. Okay, so let's get started by introducing our presenters today. My name is Matthew Hamilton. I am the Director of Traditional Admissions at Bluefield College. I've worked in higher education for 6 years in both private and public institutions, and I'm currently in my third year serving here at Bluefield College and work primarily with homeschool students as a territory. Currently, I'm pursuing my MBA through the Caldell School of Business here at Bluefield College. Also with me today is Melissa Ward, Director of Admissions at Marymount University. Melissa has worked in admissions for 12 years at 3 different private colleges and universities. Her favorite part of the admissions cycle is getting to meet the admitted students as they visit campus in the spring as they are making their college choice. Also, we have Bridget Miller presenting today. She's the Senior Enrollment Coordinator with Regent University. Bridget has worked in admissions at Regent University for 2.5 years. She's currently a Doctor of Strategic Leadership student at Regent University and works remotely out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, serving students of the entire Southeast. Jarrett Smith, he's the Director of Admissions at Bridgewater College. Jarrett drank the Bridgewater Kool-Aid a long time ago. He and his wife are alumni and both work for the college. This is the start of his 17th year working in the admissions office there at Bridgewater College. So with that said, we're going to get things kicked off. I'm going to ask Melissa Ward to come back on and get us kicked off.
Hey, Matthew, can you go ahead and share the slides as well?
All right, good morning, everyone, and thanks, Matthew, for that introduction. So I just wanted to speak briefly about Virginia private colleges and universities. There is actually a wonderful organization. You can check out the website, and we will mention this website later again. But there is an association that governs all of the Virginia private colleges and universities. So there are 28 in the state. So there are quite a few of us. And Virginia is a big state. I want to remind folks of that. As Matthew mentioned, state. And there are some common myths I want to talk about. Matthew, if you could switch to the next slide, about Virginia private colleges and universities. And I'll go over these just really briefly, but a few of these myths surround the cost of private colleges and universities. The thought being they cost more, private schools are too expensive. And you'll see on our screen that is not necessarily true. And one of the reasons for this in Virginia specifically is something called VTAG, the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant. So for this past cycle, 1920 year, the VTAG was $3,400, and any resident of the state of Virginia, undergraduate student, is eligible for that amount. You do have to fill out an application with the institution that you plan on attending, but just by being a resident of the state of Virginia, you're eligible for this. So right there, that's before any merit scholarships, institutional aid that the private college or university may be providing, as well as federal grant programs. That's a chunk right off of that tuition bill. Another myth is that the lowest published price will be the most affordable. Keep in mind that private colleges typically award far more financial aid, whether it's grants or those merit scholarships I mentioned, than public universities. And then another one I chose that I just wanted to pop in there. There are a lot of these. And again, you can find these on CICV.org. But private colleges are not diverse. And that's actually completely untrue. And I'll talk a little bit more about Marymount University specifically later, and I'm sure my colleagues will as well. But Virginia private colleges enroll a higher percentage of Black undergraduates than public institutions. And so just because a school is smaller or a private institution does not necessarily mean it's not diverse. All right, I'm going to take off my Virginia private colleges hat and put on my Marymount hat, if Matthew will switch slides for me. And so I'm here to talk a little bit about Marymount University. And Matthew, go right ahead. Yep, to the next one. So Marymount University is a smaller Catholic university located in Arlington, Virginia. We are just about 6 miles from Washington, D.C. And I've been at Marymount just a couple of months now. I love Marymount. It's been an interesting time, of course, to be starting at a new institution, but Marymount has a lot of great things to offer, and I'd like to talk a little bit about those today. A couple more facts and figures about Marymount. You know, we have just about 2,200 undergraduate students, and we have just about half that in graduate students. So we do have a large graduate student population as well, about 1,200 graduate students. So we serve both of those populations. The majority of our students do come from the state of Virginia. So right around half of our students are from in-state. But again, as I mentioned, that state is rather large. So they really come from all over, whether it's Northern Virginia, you know, the Shenandoah region, the Tidewater area. We get students from all over. Matthew, if you want to head to the next slide for me. As far as academic programs, this one can be hard to see because we have so many. We have over 75 majors and programs, and this list does show both our undergrad and grad programs. And part of the reason for that, and this doesn't do a great job of explaining it, but many of our programs are actually combined 5-year programs, or programs where you can get direct entry into the grad program. So there are wonderful opportunities to continue your education if you're looking to get a master's or a doctorate at Marymount University specifically. Some of our most popular programs are criminal justice, biology, nursing is very large. And then right now, our largest program is actually business administration, and we offer a BBA. That's one of those programs where there is a streamlined admission process right into the MBA program. If you know you're interested in getting your master's of business administration, you know, you can do that very, very easily. A few things about our classes. 85% of our faculty do hold a PhD or the highest degree in their field. So we do have a world-class faculty, and we have pretty small class sizes. As I mentioned, we're only 2,200 students. So our class size is actually a 12-to-1 ratio. So about 12 to 1 ratio of student to teacher, student to professor, but our average class size is about 18. Okay, we don't have any of those very large classes that you might see at a public institution. Next slide. I want to talk about internships. This is one of the largest benefits, I would say, you'll find at Marymount University. 100% of our students are required to do an internship before they graduate from Marymount University. So you will graduate with that experience, that on your resume. And while I don't have a stat for this, many of our students will wind up landing full-time jobs after graduation directly from their internship experience. You'll see on the right-hand side some of the companies that have recently hired our interns. Of course, you'll recognize the very iconic Amazon logo up there. And for those of you who don't know, Amazon is opening their newest headquarters right in our area. So there are bound to be wonderful opportunities there as well. Next slide. Just very briefly, we do have 19 NCAA Division III teams. It looks like part of my slide didn't come through, so I apologize about that. You can see the logos on the right-hand side for the soccer ball, swimming, let's see, tennis, track and field, and volleyball. So those are the ones that are missing. I apologize for that. But we do have 19 men's and women's NCAA Division III teams if you're interested in doing a sport at Marymount. Next slide. Study abroad. So there is a true commitment to global education at Marymount, and that actually really does go beyond study abroad. Obviously, right now, we are in an unfortunate time where students can't study abroad, but that doesn't mean our Center for Global Education is not working very hard. For example, we actually had about 8 students do abroad or international internships. So they did them remotely, they did them online, but they did internships with companies abroad. It's about more than just studying abroad. It's what you do with what you've learned and those experiences you have when you get back to campus. And Marymount does a great job of promoting our students as global citizens. Next slide, please. And I think this is my last slide, so I just wanted to wrap up with some of our recent rankings. These actually are not the most recent. For those of you who don't know, the 2021 rankings just came out. So we have moved up actually in a couple of these. And one of the ones I want to point out is that second bullet point. We are ranked for being diverse in our region. We've moved up to the #2 slot. And that goes back to what I said earlier about, oh, well, private colleges are not as diverse, or, you know, staying in Virginia, staying close to home will mean you won't get a diverse experience. We have actually 22% of our undergraduates are international. So we have a very, very high level of diversity at Marymount University. And it's part of what makes Marymount what it is. And I think that is my last slide, and I'm just about out of time, but I look forward to answering your questions later, and I will turn it over to my colleague.
All right, hello everyone. Again, my name is Bridget Miller. I'm from Regent University. If you've never heard about Regent University, I'll go into a ton of detail, or not too much detail, but a little bit more detail into the campus, but we are located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Can you go to the next slide? All right, so I won't read this to you, but really what our mission and our vision boils down to is the fact that we are a Christian university. We don't hide that fact at all. And it's our goal to develop you as a Christian leader for when you go into the real world, when you go into the workforce after graduation and you make change within your field. So we really want to develop that Christian foundation for you to do that. We do that through teaching through values like excellence, innovation, and integrity. Can you go to the next slide? Awesome. Okay, so this fall we have a little over 11,000 students. That includes both students online and on campus. If you're looking to be a full-time freshman student living and studying on campus, you're looking at about 1,400 students that are going to be having the same experience as you. So it's a larger school, but with a smaller school community feel when you're living and studying on campus. Our student to faculty ratio is 19:1. What that means is for every 19 students, there is 1 faculty. And then our average class size is about 17. So that is one benefit, is that the class sizes are a little bit smaller, gives you a little bit more of a personalized experience and time with your professors. Something that we're really proud of at Regent, we are one of the top military-friendly schools in the country, and about 30% of our students are military-affiliated students in some way. What this means is that either maybe one of your parents was a veteran or is active duty. It might include things like spouses of active duty or veterans, or maybe the students are veterans themselves. And then finally, 90% of our faculty have terminal degrees. What this means is that they are the highest level of education, or they have the highest level of education in their field. Usually this means a PhD or doctorate level education. Can you go to the next slide? All right, so a couple accolades here. I won't get too into this, but we are one of only 22 universities nationally ranked with A rating for comprehensive liberal arts curriculum. We're the #1 best online bachelor's programs in Virginia. If any of you guys are looking to study online rather than on campus, that is a benefit. And then finally, we have over 135 different areas of study. The nice part about this is that if you come to Regent, you don't necessarily have to declare a major. You can stay undecided until your junior year of college. And then you can take classes within different majors to kind of get a feel for what you want to do after college and declare a major your junior year. All of these programs of study can be found online, but our most popular are going to be communications, psychology, and business. Can you go to the next slide? Sorry about that. Okay, so at Regent, we understand that the experience, the college experience, is a little bit more than just the academic side. So we understand that you want to get involved on campus, build a community, things like that. So there are tons of opportunities to do this at Regent. Again, we are a Christian university, so a big part of this is developing the Christian foundation and developing your spiritual life. So we do this through a couple different avenues. We have chapel, which is like a formal once a week offering service, just like church, every Wednesday. This is for faculty, for staff, for students. Everyone comes together once a week for different services. And then we also have Unchapel, which is developed by the students and it's for the students. So staff, graduate students, and faculty aren't going to this, right? This is a more modern experience that is only for the undergraduate student, in which they have more modern worship services, modern services, all of that good stuff. We also have life groups and special interest small groups, if that's something you're interested in. And then we have Good Fridays, which is put on by Campus Ministries. This is an opportunity for you to go into the community and participate in community service activities around the Virginia Beach area. We do have 9 Division I NCCAA teams. This includes track and field, cross country, soccer, basketball, and volleyball. And then if you want to stay in athletics, but you don't necessarily want to compete at the collegiate level, we also have club and intramural sports. And there's a ton of different opportunities for these, including esports, which we know is a growing field of interest. And then finally, we have 55 student organizations, or a little over 55 now. This includes everything from surf club, again, we're right by the beach, so surf club to dance club to moot court and pretty much everything in between. If we don't have an organization that you're looking for, you can always create one. That's a pretty easy process. Can you go to the next slide? All right, so student housing on campus, we are one of the top 5 safest college campuses in Virginia. All of our residence halls are apartment style, so you can choose either a quad, a 1-bedroom, or a studio apartment. They are fully furnished. There's, again, multiple floor plans that you can choose from, and then you would have a resident assistant. And then anyone who lives in student housing also has access to free laundry, a gym, and then free Wi-Fi as well. Can you go to the next slide? All right, won't get too into detail here with tuition, but you can see the difference between a full-time online student at Regent and a full-time on-campus student at Regent. If you're looking to study online, the total cost would be about $10,680. And if you're looking to be a full-time on-campus student living on campus, so this includes housing costs, you're looking at about $23,400. Can you go to the next slide? All right, and sometimes those numbers seem a little bit scary, and I know that we're all going to be going into a little bit of the, funding of schools, or maybe some scholarships. So something that is a little bit different at Regent, we do have church match. So if you are getting donations from a church or an organization, we will match those funds up to $750 per semester. And then we also have scholarships. Again, 30% of our students are military affiliated. So if one of your parents was in the military, in the Army, Air Force, wherever it may be, you can receive a scholarship for that as well. And then finally, we have legacy scholarships. So if one of your parents or grandparents or siblings has gone to Regent prior to you coming to Regent, you would receive a legacy scholarship for that as well. Again, that tuition does not include anything like merit-based scholarships or third-party scholarships or any federal funding. So if you have above a 3.2 at Regent, you want to make sure you're considering what that merit-based scholarship would be. Again, they started at 3.2 and they start at $2,000 and go up to $9,000. Can you go to the next slide? All right, and then real quick with this up, we do have a pretty short application process. All you would need to do is fill out your application online, submit your transcripts from your high school, submit a government issued ID, and then finally the admissions questionnaire. And our admissions questionnaire is essentially a survey that asks you about why you would like to come to Regent and what Regent can do for you. It gives us a little bit of a feel of the type of student you might be at Regent, the type of fit that Regent is for you and vice versa. And then that takes place of the writing sample. So you don't necessarily need to write a college essay in the traditional sense. And then one thing I'll quickly point out here is we do have a $50 application fee, but if you reach out to me using that email on the first slide, I can go ahead and waive your fee from my side. So if you do apply at Regent, just make sure that you either call that number or reach out and we can go ahead and waive your fee. And I believe that is my last slide, and I believe that Matthew will be speaking next. So I will turn this over to him.
All right, hello again, everyone. Again, my name is Matthew Hamilton. I'm the Director of Traditional Admissions at Bluefield College. Bluefield College was founded in 1922. We have roughly 1,200 students on campus, and we offer dual enrollment, baccalaureate degrees, and graduate degrees online and on campus. I do want to point out we are a Christian college, so we have a Christ-centered campus, community, and curriculum. We have 32 different states, 16 countries represented, very diverse campus. With a 44% minority rate at Bluefield College, so extremely diverse. We have 40 plus academic programs, one of which we are launching a brand new on-campus residential BSN nursing program starting spring 2021 with a hard launch in fall of 2021. So if that's something you're interested in, we will have that. And part of that is with our new partnership with the Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Blacksburg, Virginia. So we will be seeing more healthcare related majors pouring in to our institution over the next few years. We have 6 pre-professional programs currently in pre-med, pre-veterinary medicine, pre-pharmacy. We do have a pre-law program as well. So that is some of our pre-professional programs. 18 women's and men's varsity sports teams, which I'll touch on a little bit later, and a 14-to-1 student to faculty ratio at Bluefield College. So you are getting a very tight-knit community where everybody knows you and you're not a number. So a little bit about Bluefield College, our mission, our core values. We are Christian outlook, Baptist in tradition, and welcoming to every person. We're committed to academic excellence, lifelong inquiry, embracing the liberal arts tradition through the study of humanities, sciences, professional studies, and graduate programs. We're a diverse community, as I said earlier, characterized by integrity, mutual respect, support, and encouragement. We're passionate about helping students understand their life calling to become compassionate, globally minded servant leaders. Our mission, again, Bluefield College is Christ-centered learning community developing servant leaders to transform the world. Our campus, so this is a beautiful shot of our campus. So we sit in the mountains of Southwest Virginia in the Highlands. We have an 82-acre campus surrounded by the majestic East River Mountain. 25 buildings and facilities, 7 athletic facilities. We have a post office and campus store on campus to get your BC swag. And we also have our Herb Sims Wellness Center for our students to have access to gym, workout equipment, and all kinds of stuff. So we want you to experience our community. So here are some ways that you can do that. We do offer personal visits, and amidst the pandemic and everything, we are offering on-campus visits with limited guests. So you can schedule a personal visit online. And we also have a virtual campus visit where you can meet one-on-one with an admissions counselor, a coach, faculty member, anybody. And we will even take you through our virtual campus tour, which is at the bottom there. We also have BC Preview Days. Our first one's coming up on the 26th of September, and that one will be on campus, and there's other virtual and on-campus dates throughout the fall. So I encourage you guys to visit bluefield.edu/visit to come check us out. You never know you like any campus, including any of our campuses, until you set foot on them and experience the community. So living on campus, we have traditional and apartment style living on campus with various floor plans. The image you see here is the lounge for Rich Hall, one of our male dormitories here on campus. So it's very modernized, very mountain modern, so to say. We do offer free smart laundry, which you can control everything by a click of your cell phone. All of our apartments and traditional residence halls are fully furnished, and that does include a fridge and a microwave, so you don't need to worry about hauling that down here. There's RAs in every building and Wi-Fi in every room. So this is Rams country. We, again, have 18 men's and women's varsity sports teams, as well as cheer as a co-ed sport, which is also a competition squad. And we do also have an esports program here at Bluefield College. So if that's something you're interested in, again, reach out to us. There'll be some more information on the last slide. But we are NAIA Division I, so I think we are the only NAIA institution in the state of Virginia. We compete in the Appalachian Athletic Conference for pretty much all our sports, at the Mid-South Conference for our football program. If that's something you are interested, you can visit bcrams.com and fill out a recruit questionnaire. Big question, how much? So our 2020-2021 direct costs are listed here as well. And we do have an awesome resource at Bluefield College with a net price calculator, which can give you a personalized estimate of your direct costs if you happen to go on our website and fill that out. And you can, again, access that at bluefield.edu/cost. We do offer dual enrollment at Bluefield College. It's $100 per credit hour, very affordable, and it is 100% online in 8-week terms. Requirements for that, you must be at least a high school sophomore to start, have a 3.0 minimum GPA going into your sophomore year. You just complete a non-degree seeking app at bluefield.edu/apply, submit a letter of permission, and submit a high school transcript. It's an awesome resource, and there's even an opportunity for you to basically get a discounted associate's degree while you're still in high school. For freshmen coming in, our requirements, we have a 2.0 minimum GPA. We are test optional. However, if you send us test scores, it could better your chances of getting more scholarship money. So if you do have those test scores, please send them in. We do accept the ACT, SAT, and CLT exams, and the CLT is currently being offered at home, so you can actually take it from your computer, from your living room. So that is another option for you. Just be sure to look on their website for schools that do accept the CLT exam. Again, you apply at bluefield.edu/apply now, submit your high school transcript, submit your final official high school transcript to prove that you graduated, and any dual enrollment transcripts, and we'll have a decision for you within 24 hours of you submitting everything. All right, so we want you to stay connected with us. Again, our website is www.bluefield.edu. This is our main admissions line here, and our main admissions email. So if there's any questions from this, again, this is also being recorded, so you can go back and have access to this. We'd love to stay connected with you, and if you have any further questions specifically about Bluefield that you don't feel like answering in the chat, you can shoot us an email. It will get to me when you send it. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Bridgewater College.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to come and see if one of Virginia's privates might be the right fit for you. My name is Jared Smith. I'm the Director of Admissions here at the college, and as Matt said in the intro, I've been with the college since 2003 when I graduated. I went home for 2 weeks back to Maryland, packed up the rest of my life, and moved back to Virginia and started off as an admissions counselor. So I have, to say I drank the Bridgewater Kool-Aid long ago may be an understatement. Matt, if you go to the next slide for me. This is an exciting time in Bridgewater's history. When I was a freshman in the fall of '99, our student enrollment was about 1,100 students. So we've seen an enrollment growth of over 500 students in the past 17 years. We've also expanded to include some graduate programs, which we'll talk a little bit about as well. With the student body, over 1,500 undergraduates, the average freshman class size for classrooms is 21. We have a 14-to-1 student to professor ratio. And I had a senior seminar class that I was one of 4 students in. We do have aspirations to continue to grow our enrollment as well. We would like to see our enrollment to get to be about 2,000 students. We feel like 2,000 students allows us to be more impactful for our students in terms of diversity within them and diversity of programs we can offer them. But 2,000 also allows us to remain personal and connected in those small classrooms and opportunities on campus as well. Go ahead to the next slide, Matt. Thanks. So not only have we seen enrollment growth, we've also seen growth in our academic programs as well. We've recently restructured the academics to include 4 academic divisions. Within those 4 divisions, there are 31 majors, 15 minors. We also have teaching licensures. So at the end of your 4 years, students would receive a Virginia teaching license, and Virginia has reciprocity with 45 states. So your teaching licensure is good just about anywhere in the US. We have some concentrations and emphasis as well, and those are smaller programs, sort of add-ons to your major or minor. They are somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 to 12 credits, so it's 3 to 4 additional courses that would give you that emphasis or concentration. 4 years ago, we started our first graduate program. We did a Master's of Science in Athletic Training, and it was a natural step for us. The national accrediting body for athletic training was moving towards requiring a master's degree. Our undergraduates at that time had a 100% pass rate on the National Athletic Training Certification Test, and we'd had a 100% placement rate for our athletic trainers into grad school or into the career field. So it was a natural progression for us to take that next step and enhance that program. After the athletic training program, that following year, we rolled out a Master's of Arts in Digital Media Strategies. And then this past summer, we started 2 new graduate programs, a Master's of Science in Human Resource Management and a Master's of Science in Psychology, mental health professions. We're going to continue to look to add graduate school programs to our campus. We're not going to add an MBA to Bridgewater College. In our opinion, the world of higher ed doesn't need an MBA program by Bridgewater. There's plenty of other schools out there doing those things. What we are going to look to do is add some graduate school programs that are meaningful and intentional for our undergraduate students. So we're doing some research of what the market requires and says is out there in terms of job possibilities and areas of opportunity. And do we have an undergraduate program, asking ourselves, do we have an undergraduate program that lines up with what could be a productive master's program for us? Go on to the next slide, please, Matt. Athletics, if you recall back on our first slide, about 30% of our student body participates in the varsity level sport. We are Division III and part of the ODAC, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. We offer over 23 different NCAA teams. We have an equestrian program and we have an equestrian center. So we have a 75-acre horse farm about 5 miles from campus. It has 2 25-stall barns, outdoor arenas, and the largest privately owned indoor arena on the East Coast. We have a cheerleading team that is sideline competition or sideline cheer, and a dance team, and have won a total of 11 national championships throughout the years, of which 7 of them have occurred since 2017. If you want to compete in athletics, but maybe not on the NCAA level, we have a robust and engaging intramural program. There's 30 different intramural teams going on. In addition to those opportunities, we also have over 60 different clubs and organizations, and they're different social groups, intellectual groups, religious groups, and ethnic groups. One of the groups on campus is called Eagle Productions, and what they do is provide entertainment on the weekends. So every weekend that students are on campus, they have a budget of over $100,000 that they're programming things with. So there's different comedians that are coming to campus or virtually this year, showing movies and doing different things that students have access to as well. If you were to draw a 10-mile radius around Bridgewater on a map, there's approximately 30,000 college students in our area. So the economy in our area is really driven by the college students, with the college students in mind. So there's every eatery you can think of, shopping areas, a downtown area. We are 10 minutes south of Harrisonburg, which is a city of about 50,000 people. So the downtown area of Harrisonburg has a nightlife side to it, has a really rich ethnic diversity as well. Within the Harrisonburg City Schools, there's over 50 different languages spoken. So there's a rich ethnic food culture downtown as well. We are in the Shenandoah Valley, located right off of Interstate 81. So we have our national forest to our east and to our west. So if you enjoy outdoor recreation opportunities, you can continue those as well. And then the town of Bridgewater is about 5,000 people. There's 4 or 5 different pizza places, a McDonald's, a Dairy Queen, a small grocery store. There are 5 parks all within walking distance of campus. The town of Bridgewater also has an ice skating rink, a free par 3 golf course, a putt-putt course, and then they've recently opened a theater in campus, or theater in town as well, which students have free access to. Matt, if you could go to the next slide for me. Every admitted student will receive some form of financial aid from Bridgewater. It could be all 3, institutional, state, or federal aid. Our merit scholarships go to admitted students, so every student that is admitted qualifies for a merit scholarship ranging between $21,000 and $30,000. It's based off of the student's high school academic profile, and depending on how they apply to Bridgewater, it will be factored in, or what will be factored in will be your high school GPA and/or SAT or ACT scores, depending on that if you apply test optional. Youth students would receive our out-of-state scholarship. That's $3,500, matches our Virginia's tuition assistance grant. And then any students that are members of the Church of the Brethren would receive a $2,500 scholarship or $1,500 scholarship, depending on if they are a residential student or not. The other type of aid that Allison, Jeffrey, or Liz would qualify for would be the federal aid, and that is through the free application for federal student aid. We have an application deadline of March 1st. For those students. If you could go to the next slide for me. We try to make our application process really easy. It's pretty quick and pretty simple to complete. We have our own bridgewater.edu app, or we are a member of the Common App. You could apply through either one. We accept both and treat each of those applications equally. We are test optional. So there is a track for students who apply test optional, go through the admissions process and through the scholarship rating process as well. There is no advantage or disadvantage to a student applying test optional. They're both given the same consideration for admission and given the same consideration for scholarships as well. We have an early action deadline of November 15th. So if you apply early action, have your application submitted and send us your transcript and or test scores, we're guaranteeing by December 1st, you will have a admissions decision with your scholarship award. And if you file the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid by November 15th, by the December 1st deadline, we will also make sure that you have your full admissions process or full admissions financial aid information as well. If you don't apply early action, we operate on a rolling admissions process, and we review applications daily and print our admissions decision letters twice a week. Students will have to submit an official high school transcript. If they do not apply, it's test optional. They can self-report their SAT or ACT scores on their application or send us a PDF version of your student report page. Just like everyone else, we have upcoming visits as well. We just got the green light and final clearance from our cabinet yesterday to proceed with an in-person open house as well. So be on the lookout for some information coming out about that. Our open house is going to be Saturday, October 17th. Thanks.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, everyone. We do have a few questions, and we do have a little bit of time left here that I wanted to throw out live. What makes your campus unique for an out-of-state student? If we could all just go through real quick and just answer that briefly, everyone, that would be that would help answer that question. Go ahead. We'll start with Bridget.
Yeah, so for an out-of-state student specifically, it wouldn't be that different of an experience than it would be for an in-state student. We do not have any out-of-state costs though, any additional out-of-state costs. So you would be treated admissions-wise and tuition-wise just as a Virginia resident would. If you've never been to Virginia and you've never experienced that area, we are a little bit more coastal. We're in kind of a touristy town. So there's plenty of opportunities for adventuring and for leisure on the beach. But we are also kind of tucked away on a private, more hidden campus. So it's kind of the best of both worlds there.
Melissa.
I'll jump in next. What Bridget said exactly. So private schools generally don't have fees for out-of-state students. So the cost is the same. We do provide, we're a residential campus, so we do provide housing, since you'll likely need it. You don't want to commute from North Carolina or another state. What I would say that is unique about Marymount is just our location. Being so close to Washington, D.C. just provides so many unique opportunities, whether it's internships or availability of transportation. So there are several airports right near us. You can take the train and you can really go anywhere in the country very easily while having sort of a close-knit campus community to come back to with a very real campus.
I guess I'll go next. So just like Regents at the beach, Marymount's up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and Bridgewater will touch on it here in a minute, but we're in the mountains. So that's what I meant by we have a unique group of presenters and schools here today. We're all on each corner of the state, but we're in the mountains, tons of awesome outdoor recreation at Bluefield, and also just the Christian experience here at Bluefield is wonderful, and as well as our community. You will never feel like a loner here. So I would say that is what sets us apart. There's just so many ways to get involved, and you will get involved if you attend at Bluefield College. Jared.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Bridgewater's campus is really one to be seen. For the past 10 years, the town of Bridgewater has been rated either number 1 or number 2 safest towns in the state of Virginia, and our campus falls in line with it as well. We have a great town and gown relationship. So as soon as you're off of the Bridgewater College proper campus, you're into a residential section of Bridgewater, the town. As I said in the presentation, the town is about 5,000 people, and there's a good relationship there. Our campus has a mall right through the middle of it, and there's trees that line the mall. So one is a sugar maple, one's a white ash, and in the fall, here in the coming weeks, those trees, the leaves start to turn red and gold, which are the school colors. So it really makes it picturesque. We are a campus of community as well. So everyone is seen as an individual on campus and pretty open and accepting of each other as well, which is nice. And it's a community that is connected as well. So oftentimes as you were walking around campus, students aren't head down with their phones doing this or all plugged in. We all are wearing masks now, so it makes it a little bit harder to communicate at times. But it's a campus that sees you. So as you are walking on campus and passing students, they're going to recognize you and see you and give you a nod or say hi, or they're going to see that you're coming 2 steps or 4 steps behind them through the door, and they're going to take the time to hold the door for you as well, which makes a difference.
There was just one other quick question. Do you have to be faith-based to attend a faith-based institution? I'll speak on behalf of Bluefield College. We are all inclusive at Bluefield College, so you do not have to be a believer or a Christian. You can be any walk of faith and attend Bluefield College, and we will continue to show you Christ's love no matter what faith or what you believe in. I'm sure Bridget would say the same.
Yep, I would say the exact same.
Okay, well that is it. That is it. I'm going to hand it back to the host.
Okay, great. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for everybody that attended today. And if you have any questions, you can still submit those right now, and they will be sure to be contacted by everybody, and a recording of this session will be posted to CACRAO's website. It's www.cacrao.org. Thanks, and have a great day.